Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I've been purchasing for what seems like over 25 years now. Just recently, I've been working for the Hudson's Bay Company as their procurement manager.
Why did you seek out additional training? You've been in purchasing for a long time, so why did you think you needed additional training?
I felt like I had snippets of different types, different strategies, different processes, and I just felt there were a lot of gaps. In each industry, I did what felt like a different side of procurement, if you will. Sometimes with supply chain, some was just direct purchasing. Most recently, it was strategic sourcing. So I wanted to pull that all together. And so I did quite a bit of searching, and I found the next level purchasing courses really attractive. So I started that, and I'm glad I did.
How do you see this benefiting you personally from the standpoint of yourself as a purchasing professional? I mean, do you approach your work with a different kind of confidence, a different sense of where you are in your field because of this training?
Because of the information that I have in my back pocket now, I'm a lot more confident. Purchasing isn't all in your head. You've got to refer to things. You've got to look. You've got to research things. Say what's the best decision to make, regardless of what strategy you're writing or so forth. So I have that now. I have my own little black book.
Right. So you started this program in June and you were doing the work there. When you applied for a job, how did your prospective employers respond when they saw that you were taking these courses and pursuing this designation?
I would describe the courses that I was taking in the interview, and they were quite impressed. I mean, when you sit there and say, you know what, SPSM, yep, and I've talked through the 6 courses, the certificates, and, the certification and so forth, but I'd also tell them, and in a very frank way, that, you know what, they're the best courses I've ever taken in purchasing. That blows them away.
How did you happen to decide on next level purchasing? What was it that appealed to you?
Initially, I was looking for a degree, honestly. I was looking for a procurement degree, but there are a few good procurement degrees in North America, on this continent. I had to go to UK to find any that even attracted me. I mean, they're very expensive. I would suspect it would have taken me at least 3 to 4 years to finish their master's or their master's program in procurement. I mean, I've been in college. I've taken the university courses. Actually, I've taken my purchasing certificate course here in Toronto at Ryerson University. And still, this one is much more powerful than that one was.
What makes this program so unique and so powerful compared to what you've got in traditional education?
First of all, I think it's the language. It was the way it talked to me, but so live, experiences, the commonsensical approach of training. It was not something that happens in the past. It's now. So right up to state-of-the-art, knowledge with regards to procurement, and I have a lot of procurement books and purchasing books and supply chain books. I don't want the dry stuff. I'm sort of a lively character, so I want something that there's even a lot of humor, believe it or not, in each course.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sit there and I found myself laughing. So the thing that attracted me the most were the courses. I wanted the strategy course, I wanted the contract course, and I wanted, and frankly, and you may laugh about this, but after 25 years, I wanted to have another look at purchasing fundamentals. So if anything that was left out back then, when there always is, as you and I know, I want to bring that up to the current. So I needed something quick, I needed something that had the meat to it, and I needed something that was the right price.
I'm assuming, since you've mentioned price a couple of times, that your company is not paying for this. This is coming out of your own pocket.
Right. So the company paid for the first course. So they paid for what was the first course I took? I think it was the strategy course. Retail, as you know, is a pretty hard game.
Right.
And so there wasn't the budget there. I asked for them to pay for the next courses the next year, and it was just a flat-out no budget. I said, fine, I'll pay for it myself, so I did.
Now, that's a pretty bold move on your part. I mean, there are a whole lot of people out there who are sitting there and saying, look, this is the kind of stuff that my company ought to pay for it. Why did you decide to just say, I don't care, I'm going to pay for it myself?
I don't know what to tell you about that. I take my career very seriously. I know where I want to go. I have a few dreams for my family and myself, and it all just makes sense. I know where I have to go to be where I want to be.
I have to think that a lot of people who are used to traditional education, you go in and have a classroom, and you have a workshop, they might be a little bit concerned about whether they could actually learn online. What was the process like for you?
I have created a manual out of the courses for myself that I can take to work. So I've shrunk it down, each course, to the nuts and bolts, right down to the formulas. So I can take this anywhere with me, and that becomes part of my suitcase. So doing each course, that's part of what I did. But basically, it's just, you know what? Every week, you sit down and you do it. I was never aside from making sure that I had a date with the right girl, I wasn't really very much of a classroom person.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just fine for me. It works really well for me, and I have a library set up. And furthermore, I mean, it's a great thing for my kids to see.
How hard was this training? I mean, if you had to rate it on a scale of 1 being the easy crossword puzzle in the paper and 10 being quantum physics at MIT, I mean, how would you rank this?
I would rank this between a 6.5 and a 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't very, very hard, but it was very, very useful.
Right.
And that's what I was looking for.
Did you ever need support from Next Level as you were doing these programs? Did you ever have questions, needed response? How responsive were they for you?
He would respond to me the next day.
Wow.
Every single time. And half a dozen or more occasions, I had sent emails to Charles. And I can't say enough about that.
If they follow the strategy that you were helping them line up, do you have any idea of what bottom line impact that might have?
The 3 years that I was there, I had saved them, not just myself, but obviously the cross-functional teams and subject matter experts that I pulled together for the sourcing initiatives and so forth, over $10 million.
Wow.
Now,
So if you had to put a figure on it for where you think if they move forward with that strategy, what you think that will have as a bottom line impact on the company?
I would say within the next 2 or 3 years, another 5 to 10 million.
Wow.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Just in the software piece, as well as the, like I said, the value add that they were not getting. I mean, I'm not talking about hard dollar value. I mean, credits that were due that no one was showing them, no one was pointing to, things like that. Training. I mean, training costs money. And all these kind of things, all this pulled together. It was I couldn't say. I was very excited about it.
Right. So what would you say to another purchasing professional? They're in there and they're out in the field and maybe they don't have support from their company or whatever. What would you advise another purchasing professional in terms of thinking about whether they should sign up and take this kind of training?
That's probably the easiest question, actually. I would just say to them that regardless of where you are or where you have been in your career, take the courses. You won't regret it.
Even if they're a beginner or they're seasoned professionals, you think they can?
I do not care. And as a matter of fact, I'll go further than that and say that in the future, if I have the opportunity, I will have my staff take these courses.
Great. What would you say to an employer who's sitting out there who's thinking about whether they want to support this for their employees?
You know what? They would get 20-fold back from each course. They really will, because they're they're commonsensical courses. I find that a lot of courses, they reach out too far without putting forth the fundamentals first and the bricks and mortar in the actual information that they need to know. So this one doesn't reach out that far. It starts at the beginning and it takes you right through. Right? So there's nowhere there that you're going to fall into a hole and say, holy mackerel, I haven't got a clue what he's talking about now. It's all there for you. You know, whether the person's been purchasing for a year or they're purchasing in their, in their director or VP role, take the courses. You will not waste your time.